My chosen one, something extraordinary is happening right now, and you were not meant to miss this moment. There is a reason your eyes are here, fixed on these words, at this exact time. Because on July 4th, a shift begins, one that has been quietly building beneath the surface of your life. And now, Archangel Michael steps forward with a message that cannot wait any longer. You may have thought that the heaviness you've been feeling was just stress or confusion or even exhaustion. But listen carefully. What you've been experiencing is not ordinary. It is the pressure that comes right before a breakthrough. It is the tension between who you were told you were and who you were truly created to become. There has been a silent battle surrounding you. Not always visible, not always loud, but persistent. Subtle doubts creeping into your mind. Moments where your confidence slipped without explanation. Times when you questioned your path, your worth, even your purpose. And yet, through it all, something inside you refused to completely give up. That something is not small. It is not weak. And it is not accidental. Archangel Michael reveals this truth to you now. The power within you has always been greater than the forces that tried to silence you. But here is the shocking part. You were never meant to discover it in comfort. You were meant to uncover it in resistance. Every challenge you faced, every delay, every moment that made you feel like you were falling behind, it was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to awaken something buried deep within your spirit. A strength so powerful that once it rises, nothing standing against your divine calling will be able to remain. And now, July 4th carries a meaning that goes far beyond what you've known. This is not just a date. It is a signal, a divine marker, a moment where chains begin to loosen, where clarity begins to break through confusion, and where your inner power starts to rise in ways you did not expect. You may not feel ready. You may even feel uncertain as these words reach you. But that does not change the truth. This message has found you because you are already chosen for what is coming. There is something within you that has been waiting for permission to rise. And today, that permission is being given. Archangel Michael stands as your protector, your guide, and your witness, declaring that what is inside you is not fragile, it is unshakable. But before you fully step into it, you must understand this. The forces that tried to weaken you only revealed how strong you truly are. This is only the beginning of what is being revealed. Because what comes next will change the way you see yourself forever, and once you see it, you will never return to who you used to be. Tell me, are you ready to uncover what has been hidden within you all along? There is something deeper unfolding within you, something that cannot be explained by logic alone. You have felt it in quiet moments, in the stillness when everything around you slows down and your thoughts become louder. The tension you have carried, that inner conflict you could never fully describe, is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of a hidden war taking place within your spirit. You have been standing at the intersection of two forces. One whispers fear, telling you to stay small, to remain where things are predictable, to avoid stepping into the unknown. The other calls you forward, urging you to rise, to trust, to step into a version of yourself that feels unfamiliar but deeply right. And the reason this battle has felt so intense is because both forces have been pulling at your attention at the same time. Archangel Michael reveals that this is not lucha or coincidence. This inner struggle has been allowed for a reason. Because the strength you are being called to step into cannot be given. It must be awakened. And awakening does not happen in comfort. It happens in moments like these, when you are forced to choose between doubt and belief, between retreat and courage. Think back to the times when you almost gave up, the moments when things did not go the way you expected, when doors seemed to close without explanation, when progress felt slow or non-existent. You may have questioned why it was happening, why things felt so difficult despite your efforts. But what you could not see then is what is being revealed to you now. Those moments were shaping you. They were strengthening something within you that could not be built any other way. There have also been signs, subtle ones. Moments when something told you to keep going even when it made no sense. A quiet voice reminding you that there is more for you, even when everything around you suggested otherwise. That voice is not your imagination. It is a divine signal, a connection to something higher guiding you through what you cannot yet fully understand. At the same time, there have been forces working to distract you. Sudden waves of doubt that appeared out of nowhere. Thoughts that made you question your worth, your abilities, your direction. These were not random. They were attempts to weaken your focus, to pull you away from what you are being prepared for. Because the moment you fully recognize your inner strength is the moment those forces lose their influence over you. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian in this unseen battle, reminding you that you have never been alone in this process. Even when you felt isolated, even when you believed no one understood what you were going through, there was protection surrounding you. There was guidance keeping you from paths that were not meant for you, even if it felt like delay or denial at the time. Now, as this message continues to unfold, you are being asked to see your experience differently. Not as a series of struggles, but as a process of preparation. Not as evidence of limitation, but as proof of transformation already in motion. Because the truth is, the battle within you is not meant to defeat you. It is meant to reveal you. And what is being revealed is far more powerful than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. There is something within you that you have not fully recognized yet, something ancient, something powerful, something placed there long before you ever faced your first struggle. It is not something you learned from the world, and it is not something anyone else gave to you. This power was planted within you by divine design, and it has been waiting patiently for this very moment to awaken. You may have believed that your strength came from your experiences, from the things you endured, from the lessons you learned along the way. But Archangel Michael reveals a deeper truth to you now. Your experiences did not create your strength, they revealed it. What is inside you has always been there, untouched by failure, untouched by rejection, untouched by every moment that made you question yourself. There were times when life felt like it was breaking you. Moments when the weight of everything became too much, when you wondered how much longer you could keep going. But even in those moments, something within you refused to collapse completely. You may not have understood it then, but that was your inner power holding you together, refusing to let you fall apart because it knew what you were meant to become. Nothing you have gone through has been wasted. Every delay, every closed door, every unexpected turn in your path had been part of a preparation process. It may not have made sense while you were in it, but now you are being shown that it all had purpose. Each challenge strengthened your spirit. Each moment of uncertainty forced you to look deeper within yourself. Each time you chose to keep going, even when it was difficult, you were activating a level of strength that cannot be taken away from you. Archangel Michael speaks clearly in this moment. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. And the power that was placed inside you was never meant to remain hidden forever. It was meant to rise at the exact moment when you were ready to carry it. Right now, something is shifting within you. You may feel it as a quiet realization, or a sudden sense of clarity, or even a strong emotional response that you cannot fully explain. That is the awakening beginning. That is the moment when what has been dormant starts to move, starts to expand, starts to reveal itself in ways that will change how you see yourself forever. This power is not fragile. It does not disappear when things become difficult. It does not depend on external validation or approval. It exists within you, steady and constant, waiting for you to recognize it and step into it fully. And here is what you must understand. Once you truly connect with this power, nothing that once intimidated you will hold the same weight. The doubts that once felt overwhelming will begin to lose their grip. The fears that once held you back will no longer feel as strong. Not because your circumstances suddenly change, but because you have changed. You are not the same person who once questioned whether you were strong enough. You are someone who is beginning to see that the strength was always there. And as this realization grows, you will begin to move differently, think differently, and respond to challenges in ways that surprise even you. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of a new phase, one where you no longer underestimate yourself, one where you no longer shrink in the face of resistance, one where you stand fully in the power that was placed inside you from the very beginning. And as this truth settles into your spirit, allow yourself to receive it fully. Allow yourself to believe it even if part of you still feels uncertain. Because the more you accept it, the stronger it becomes. Type "I receive the power" within in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 531 is now activated over your life. And as this divine strength awakens within you, hear this calling in your heart. I am stepping forward to help this message reach every soul who feels weak but is chosen to rise. Like seeds sown into fertile ground, your giving becomes light in someone else's darkness, a river that carries hope where there was none. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over," and this promise is alive for you right now. If this message has stirred something in you, then this is your moment to act. Support this mission through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every video description and QR code, and become part of what God is releasing in this hour. As you give, may doors open before you, may favor surround you, and may your life overflow with unexpected blessings. Do not delay what your spirit is being called to do. Act now, and step into alignment with this divine movement. There is a reason the resistance in your life has felt so persistent, so targeted, and at times, so personal. It is not because you are weak. It is not because you are failing. It is because there is something within you that carries a level of power the opposition cannot afford to ignore. And now, Archangel Michael is revealing a truth that may change how you see everything you have been through. The closer you are to awakening your true strength, the stronger the resistance becomes. You may have wondered why certain patterns kept repeating. Why just as things seemed to improve, something would appear to pull you back. Why moments of clarity were sometimes followed by waves of doubt. It felt confusing, even discouraging, as if you were moving forward and backward at the same time. But what you did not realize is that these moments were not signs of regression. They were signs that you were getting closer to breaking through. There are forces that operate through distraction, fear, and uncertainty. They do not always come in obvious ways. Sometimes they appear as hesitation, as overthinking, as that quiet voice telling you to wait, to hold back, to stay where it feels safe. Other times, they show up as external challenges that seem to demand your full attention, pulling your focus away from what truly matters. And the goal has always been the same, to keep you from stepping fully into your power. Because once you do, everything changes. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity and authority. Your awakening disrupts what once had influence over you. The moment you begin to see yourself differently, the moment you recognize the strength within you, the hold that fear once had begins to weaken. And that is why the resistance intensified when you started to grow. It was not trying to stop you because you were insignificant. It was reacting because you were becoming aware of who you truly are. Think about how many times you doubted yourself, even when there was no clear reason to. How many times you hesitated, even when something inside you was telling you to move forward. Those were not random moments. They were carefully timed attempts to create hesitation at the exact point where confidence was beginning to rise. But here is what changes everything. Those attempts only work as long as they remain unseen. And now that you are becoming aware, their influence begins to fade. Archangel Michael is calling you to stand firm in this moment. Not to retreat, not to question your progress, but to recognize that the very resistance you have faced is confirmation of your potential. You are not moving in the wrong direction. You are moving in the exact direction that requires you to grow into your full strength. And growth is not always comfortable. It stretches you. It challenges you. It asks you to release old versions of yourself that can no longer carry the level of power you are stepping into. That is why this moment feels different. That is why something inside you feels like it is shifting, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. You are not being asked to fight harder. You are being asked to see clearly, to see that the fear was never as powerful as it appeared, to see that the doubts were never rooted in truth, to see that what has been within you this entire time is far greater than anything that has tried to stand against you. Archangel Michael reminds you now, do not shrink back at the very moment you are meant to rise. Do not question yourself when clarity is beginning to form. Do not return to old patterns when you are being called into something greater. Because what is ahead of you is not something to fear. It is something you were prepared for long before you realized it. And now, there is no turning back from the truth that is being revealed within you. There is a deeper meaning behind this moment that you are only now beginning to understand. July 4th is not just a date that passes like any other. It carries a spiritual significance that reaches far beyond what you have been taught to see. While the world may recognize it as a symbol of external freedom, Archangel Michael reveals that for you, it represents something far more personal, your inner liberation. For a long time, parts of you have been held back without you even realizing it. Not always by obvious forces, but by subtle limitations that shaped how you saw yourself. Old beliefs that whispered you were not ready. Past experiences that convinced you to play small. Quiet fears that made you hesitate when it was time to move forward. These were not chains you could see, but they were chains nonetheless. And now, this moment is calling you to break free from them. Archangel Michael is showing you that true freedom does not begin outside of you. It begins within. It begins the moment you stop allowing old thoughts to define your future. It begins when you no longer measure your potential by what has already happened, but instead by what has been placed inside you from the beginning. Think about how many times you limited yourself without realizing it. Times when you chose the safer path, not because it was right, but because it felt more predictable. Moments when you held back your voice, your ideas, your true self, because you were unsure how it would be received. Each of those moments created a pattern, a habit of restraint that slowly became familiar. But what once felt normal is no longer aligned with who you are becoming. This is why July 4th marks a turning point in your journey. It is a moment where the internal walls begin to fall, where the version of you that stayed quiet, that held back, that doubted, begins to fade. And in its place, something stronger begins to rise, a version of you that is no longer willing to live beneath your true potential. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity. You are not meant to remain confined by what once defined you. You are meant to expand beyond it, to step into a level of confidence that is not based on external validation, but on inner knowing. To move forward not because everything is certain, but because you trust the strength within you. Freedom, in this sense, is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of courage in the face of it. You are being invited to reclaim something that has always belonged to you. Your voice, your confidence, your ability to stand fully in who you are without hesitation. And this invitation is not something that can be postponed. Because the longer you delay it, the longer you remain connected to a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. There is also a deeper layer to this moment. As you begin to free yourself internally, you begin to influence everything around you. The way you think changes. The way you respond to challenges shifts. The way others perceive you transforms. Not because you are trying to prove something, but because you are finally aligned with who you were meant to be. And this alignment carries power. Archangel Michael reminds you that you do not need permission from anyone to step into this freedom. You do not need approval to become who you already are. The only thing required is your willingness to release what no longer serves you and embrace what has been waiting for you all along. This is your moment to declare independence from fear, from doubt, from limitation. This is your moment to rise into the truth of your inner strength. And as this realization settles into your spirit, understand this: the freedom you are stepping into is not temporary. It is the beginning of a new way of living, one where you are no longer held back by what once controlled you. Because once you truly experience this level of inner freedom, there is no returning to the version of yourself that lived in limitation. You are stepping into something greater now, and everything within you knows it. There are chains that have been wrapped around your life that you could not see, and because you could not see them, you could not fully understand why certain things felt so difficult to move beyond. These chains were not made of something physical. They were formed through experiences, through words spoken over you, through moments that left an imprint on your spirit. And over time, they became so familiar that you no longer question them. You simply learned to live with them. But now, something is changing. Archangel Michael is bringing your awareness to these hidden limitations, not to overwhelm you, but to free you from them. Because what you are about to step into cannot be carried while these chains remain in place. They must be recognized before they can be broken. Some of these chains were built through fear. Not always loud or obvious fear, but quiet hesitation. The kind that makes you second-guess yourself. The kind that causes you to pause when you feel the urge to move forward. It whispers that you are not ready, that you need more time, that you should wait for the perfect moment. But that perfect moment never arrives, and so the chain remains. Other chains were formed through doubt. Not just doubt in your abilities, but doubt in your purpose. Times when you questioned whether you were truly meant for something greater. Moments when you compared your journey to others and felt like you were falling behind. These thoughts did not come all at once. They built slowly, layering over time, until they began to feel like truth. And then there are the chains formed through past wounds. Experiences that left you guarded. Situations that made you more cautious, more reserved, less willing to take risks. You adapted to protect yourself, and in doing so, you unknowingly limited how far you allowed yourself to go. But Archangel Michael speaks clearly now. These chains were never meant to define you. They were temporary. They were part of a season, not your identity. The moment you begin to see them for what they are, they begin to lose their power over you. Because their strength was never in their existence. It was in your belief in them. And now that belief is being challenged. You are being shown that you have authority over these limitations. That you are not bound by them unless you choose to be. that the same power that has been growing within you is more than capable of breaking every chain that has tried to hold you back. This is not something that happens all at once. It is a process, a conscious decision to think differently, to respond differently, to refuse to accept the same limitations that once felt normal. It requires awareness. It requires intention. And most importantly, it requires trust in the strength that is already within you. You may feel resistance as you begin this process. That is natural, because anything that has been in place for a long time does not release without tension. But that tension is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that something is shifting. Archangel Michael is guiding you through this moment, reminding you that you do not have to do this alone. You are supported. You are protected. And you are being led toward a version of yourself that is no longer restricted by what once held you back. Imagine what your life begins to look like without these chains. Imagine moving forward without hesitation, without the constant questioning, without the weight of past limitations influencing your decisions. That is the direction you are being guided toward. But in order to reach it, you must be willing to release what you have grown used to carrying. You must be willing to let go of the version of yourself that operated within those limits. Because the person you are becoming does not live in restriction. The person you are becoming moves with clarity, with confidence, and with a deep understanding that nothing external has the authority to define what is possible for you. This is where your transformation deepens. This is where you begin to step fully into your power. And once these chains are broken, you will realize something that changes everything. They were never stronger than you. There has always been a voice within you, quiet, steady, and consistent even when everything around you felt uncertain. It did not demand attention, and it did not force itself into your awareness. Instead, it waited patiently, speaking in moments of stillness, guiding you gently in directions that often did not make immediate sense. And yet, more often than not, you chose to ignore it. Not because you wanted to, but because it did not sound like the louder voices you had grown used to listening to. The world around you trained you to rely on logic, on external validation, on visible proof before taking a step forward. But this voice did not operate that way. It spoke in feelings, in instincts, in quiet knowing that could not always be explained. Archangel Michael is bringing your attention back to this voice now, because it holds more importance than you realize. It is not random. It is not imagination. It is your connection to divine guidance, a direct line to the wisdom that has always been available to you. Think back to the times when you felt strongly about a decision, even when there was no clear reason why. Moments when something inside you told you to take a certain path, to trust a certain direction, or even to avoid something that seemed harmless on the surface. That was not coincidence. That was guidance. But there were also times when you overrode that voice. Times when you convinced yourself to follow what seemed more practical, more logical, or more acceptable to others. And in those moments, something felt slightly off. Not always enough to stop you, but enough to leave a quiet discomfort that stayed with you. That discomfort was not there to confuse you. It was there to remind you. Archangel Michael reveals that this inner voice is one of the most powerful tools you have been given. It is not limited by fear. It is not influenced by doubt. It operates from a place of clarity that sees beyond what is immediately visible. And the more you learn to listen to it, the more aligned your life becomes. But listening requires trust. It requires you to accept that not everything can be understood before it is experienced. It requires you to move forward even when you do not have all the answers. And most importantly, it requires you to quiet the external noise that has been competing for your attention. Right now, you are being called to reconnect with this voice, to begin paying attention to those subtle feelings, those quiet nudges, those moments of inner clarity that you may have dismissed in the past, because they are becoming stronger. As your awareness grows, so does your ability to recognize the difference between fear and guidance. Fear creates hesitation, confusion, and doubt. Guidance creates a sense of calm, even when the path ahead is uncertain. It does not rush you, and it does not pressure you. It simply points you in the direction that aligns with your true self. Archangel Michael stands with you in this process, encouraging you to trust what you feel within, not blindly but consciously, to observe it, to understand it, and to follow it when it resonates with truth. You are not being led without direction. You are being guided step by step, even in moments when it feels like you are navigating alone. And the more you acknowledge this guidance, the clearer it becomes. There is a shift happening within you right now. A shift from external dependence to internal trust. A shift from uncertainty to quiet confidence. A shift from questioning yourself to understanding that the answers you seek have been within you all along. This voice you once ignored is now becoming impossible to overlook. And as you begin to listen, truly listen, you will realize something that changes everything. You have never been without direction. You have only been learning how to hear it. And now, you are ready. Something is shifting now, and you can feel it, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. There is a subtle change in the way you see things, a quiet awareness that something is aligning behind the scenes. What once felt heavy is beginning to loosen. What once felt confusing is starting to make sense. And what once seemed delayed is now revealing itself as perfectly timed. Archangel Michael is making this clear to you. This is the moment where everything begins to turn. You are no longer in the same place you were before. Even if your surroundings look similar, even if certain situations have not yet fully changed, something within you has already moved. And that internal shift is what begins to influence everything else. For a long time, it may have felt like you were pushing forward without seeing results. Like your efforts were going unnoticed, like your progress was invisible. But what you could not see was the quiet preparation happening beneath the surface. Pieces were being aligned. Paths were being adjusted. Obstacles were being moved out of your way, even if it did not happen instantly. Now that preparation is beginning to reveal itself, you may start to notice small changes at first. A sense of clarity where there was once confusion. A feeling of calm where there was once anxiety. Opportunities appearing in ways you did not expect. Conversations that shift your perspective. Moments that seem ordinary but carry deeper meaning. These are not coincidences. They are signs that things are beginning to move. Archangel Michael declares that the resistance you once felt is beginning to weaken. Not because it has disappeared completely, but because it no longer holds the same power over you. You are seeing through it now. You are recognizing it for what it is. And because of that, it cannot control you the way it once did. This is where acceleration begins. What once took time will begin to unfold more quickly. What once felt distant will begin to come closer. What once seemed uncertain will begin to take shape in ways that bring clarity and direction. And as this happens, you may feel a mixture of excitement and hesitation. That hesitation is natural, because stepping into something new always carries a level of uncertainty. But Archangel Michael is reminding you that you are not stepping into the unknown without preparation. You are stepping into something you have been prepared for all along. This is not the time to hold back. This is not the time to question whether you are ready. This is the time to trust what has been built within you, to move forward with confidence, even if every step is not fully clear yet. Because clarity does not always come before movement. Sometimes it comes through movement. As you continue forward, you will begin to notice something else. The things that once drained your energy will begin to lose their hold. The thoughts that once created doubt will no longer feel as convincing. The patterns that once kept you stuck will begin to break without as much effort. This is the shift. This is the moment where everything you have been going through starts to make sense. Archangel Michael stands with you, declaring that you are entering a phase of alignment. A phase where your inner strength and your external reality begin to reflect each other more clearly. A phase where you no longer feel like you are fighting against everything, but instead feel like things are beginning to flow. And as this flow begins, you are being asked to do one simple but powerful thing. Stay open. Stay open to the changes. Stay open to the opportunities. Stay open to the guidance that continues to come your way. Because the more open you are, the easier it becomes for everything to align. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if you feel this shift happening within you. Lesson code 842 is now activated, releasing acceleration and clarity into your path. And as this divine alignment unfolds in your life, hear this call rising within your spirit. I am becoming a vessel through which light reaches others who are still waiting for their breakthrough. Like a river that never runs dry, your giving carries life, hope, and restoration into places that feel empty. The word speaks directly to you. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and this is your moment to respond. If this message has touched your heart, then step into this prophetic action by supporting through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link found in every video description and QR code. As you give, may your path be cleared, may unexpected favor locate you, and may your life overflow with divine increase. Do not hesitate when your spirit is being stirred. Act now and become part of what heaven is releasing in this moment. There comes a moment in every transformation where you are no longer preparing, no longer questioning, no longer waiting for confirmation. That moment is when you are called to stand. Not halfway, not uncertainly, but fully and firmly in who you are becoming. And that is where you are now. You have gone through the process of awakening. You have felt the shift within you. You have begun to recognize the strength that has always been there. But now, Archangel Michael is calling you into something deeper, into the act of standing in your divine calling without hesitation. Standing firm does not mean that everything around you becomes easy. It does not mean that challenges disappear or that every step is perfectly clear. What it means is that you no longer allow those challenges to define your direction. You no longer allow uncertainty to control your decisions. You move forward not because everything is guaranteed, but because you trust what hath been placed inside you. There may still be moments where fear tries to return. Moments where old thoughts attempt to resurface, reminding you of who you used to be. But those moments do not hold the same power they once did, because now you see them differently. You recognize them as echoes of a past version of yourself, not reflections of who you are now. Archangel Michael speaks with strength and certainty. You are no longer the person who hesitated at every step. You are no longer the person who doubted your own ability to rise. You are someone who has been refined through experience, strengthened through challenge, and prepared for what lies ahead. And now, you are being asked to embody that truth. Standing in your divine calling requires boldness. It requires you to move forward even when others may not fully understand your path. It requires you to trust your direction even when it does not match the expectations placed upon you. And most importantly, it requires you to remain grounded in your truth, regardless of external opinions or circumstances. This is where many people turn back. Not because they lack strength, but because they hesitate to fully step into it. They wait for reassurance, for validation, for some external sign that confirms they are on the right path. But what you are being shown now is that the confirmation has already been given. It was given the moment you began to feel the shift within you. It was given the moment you started to see yourself differently. It was given the moment you realized that what is inside you is greater than what stands against you. Archangel Michael is not asking you to search for more signs. He is asking you to trust the ones you have already received. There is power in standing firm. A quiet, unshakable power that does not need to prove itself. It does not seek approval. It does not waver when faced with resistance. It simply remains steady, rooted in truth, and aligned with purpose. As you begin to stand in this way, you will notice a change not only within yourself, but in how the world responds to you. Situations that once felt overwhelming will begin to feel manageable. Decisions that once felt confusing will begin to feel clear. And opportunities that once seemed distant will begin to move closer. Not because the world has suddenly changed, but because you have. You are no longer approaching life from a place of doubt. You are approaching it from a place of strength. Archangel Michael stands beside you, reinforcing this truth. You are supported in your calling. You are protected as you move forward. And you are fully capable of carrying what has been placed before you. This is not the time to retreat into what is comfortable. This is the time to step fully into what is true. To stand without hesitation. To move without fear. To embrace the calling that has been waiting for you to claim it. Because the moment you fully stand in it is the moment everything begins to align in ways you never thought possible. There is a truth that is beginning to anchor itself deeply within you now, a truth that cannot be shaken once it is fully understood. It is the realization that the strength you carry is not something that can be taken from you. It is not something that depends on circumstances, approval, or outcomes. It exists within you, constant and unchanging, regardless of what happens around you. For a long time, you may have believed that your strength came and went, that there were moments when you felt powerful and moments when you felt weak, that certain situations made you feel confident while others made you question yourself. But what you are being shown now is that those fluctuations were not a reflection of your true strength. They were reflections of your awareness of it. Archangel Michael reveals that your strength has never diminished. It has never left you, even in your most uncertain moments. What changed was your connection to it. There were times when you forgot it was there, times when you allowed external circumstances to overshadow it, times when you listened more to fear than to truth. But now, that connection is being restored. You are beginning to understand that your power is not something you need to search for. It is something you need to recognize. It is already present, already active, already shaping your ability to move forward. And once you fully accept this, something shifts permanently within you. Because when you know that your strength cannot be taken, you stop fearing loss in the same way. You stop holding yourself back out of concern that things might not work out. You stop hesitating because of what could go wrong. You begin to move with a different kind of confidence, one that is not dependent on guarantees, but on inner certainty. Archangel Michael speaks directly into this moment. Nothing external has the authority to weaken what has been divinely placed within you. No opinion, no circumstance, no temporary setback can override the strength that is part of your very being. This does not mean that challenges will disappear. It means that challenges no longer define your capacity to overcome them. Think about how different your life becomes when you truly accept this. When you no longer approach situations from a place of doubt, but from a place of strength. When you no longer question whether you are capable, but instead trust that you already are. This is where your power becomes unshakable. You begin to respond to life differently. Situations that once created stress no longer feel as overwhelming. Decisions that once felt difficult become clearer. And even when uncertainty is present, it does not carry the same weight it once did, because you are no longer relying on external stability to feel secure. You are grounded in something deeper. Archangel Michael reminds you that this is the foundation of true confidence. Not the kind that depends on success or validation, but the kind that remains steady regardless of outcome. The kind that allows you to move forward without fear of losing yourself along the way. This is why the journey you have been on has been so important. Every challenge, every moment of doubt, every experience that forced you to look within, it was all leading you to this realization that your strength is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not something that can be taken away. It is part of who you are. And now that you are beginning to see this clearly, you are no longer the same person who once questioned your own power. You are someone who understands it. Someone who carries it with awareness. Someone who can no longer be easily shaken by what once felt overwhelming. Archangel Michael stands with you, affirming this truth. You are stronger than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. And the more you embrace this, the more it becomes evident in every area of your life. This is not something you will forget, because once you truly know your strength, it becomes a part of how you live, how you move, and how you face everything that comes your way. And from this point forward, nothing will feel the same again. There is a new path opening before you now, and it does not look like the path you once imagined. It is not built on fear, hesitation, or uncertainty. It is built on clarity, strength, and a deep sense of knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And as you stand at this point in your journey, Archangel Michael is calling you to take a step that changes everything, to move forward without fear. Fear hath been a familiar companion for much of your journey. Not always obvious, not always overwhelming, but present in subtle ways. It showed up in hesitation, in overthinking, in the need to have everything figured out before taking action. It made you question yourself at moments when you were closest to breakthrough. It made you pause when you were meant to move. But something has changed. You are no longer responding to fear in the same way. You are beginning to see it for what it is, a reaction, not a command, a signal, not a truth. And this shift in perception is what gives you the ability to move beyond it. Archangel Michael is guiding you into a new understanding. Fear does not disappear before you act. It loses its power when you choose to act despite it. This is where many people wait. They wait for fear to go away, for certainty to arrive, for the perfect moment to present itself. But that moment never comes in the way they expect. Because the real transformation happens when you decide to move forward even when everything is not perfectly clear. You are being called to trust your direction, even if you cannot see the entire path. To take steps that feel aligned, even if they feel unfamiliar. To move with confidence, even when a part of you still questions what lies ahead. This is not reckless movement. This is intentional, guided action. It is the result of everything you have learned, everything you have experienced, everything that has shaped your understanding up to this point. And as you begin to move in this way, something powerful happens. Fear begins to fade. Not because it is gone completely, but because it no longer controls your decisions. It no longer defines what you do or do not do. It becomes background noise, something you can acknowledge without allowing it to stop you. Archangel Michael stands beside you in this moment, strengthening your resolve, reminding you that you are not stepping forward alone. that every step you take is supported, guided, and aligned with a greater purpose that you are only beginning to fully understand. You may not have all the answers right now, and that is okay. You may not know exactly how everything will unfold, and that is okay. What matters is that you are no longer standing still. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are no longer allowing fear to dictate your path. You are moving, and movement creates clarity. With each step you take, the path becomes more visible. With each decision you make, your confidence grows stronger. With each moment you choose courage over hesitation, you reinforce the truth of who you are becoming. This is how transformation becomes reality. Not through waiting, not through overthinking, but through action. Archangel Michael is calling you to embrace this fully, to step into your life with a sense of purpose that is no longer questioned, to move forward with the understanding that you are capable of handling what comes your way, because you have already proven it through everything you have faced. And now, you are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs to be convinced of that truth. This is your time to walk forward with confidence, to leave behind the patterns that once held you back, to embrace the strength that has always been within you, and to move into the future without fear, knowing that you are fully prepared for what lies ahead. Beloved soul, as this message comes to its final moment, something within you has already changed. You may not have all the answers yet. You may not see every step clearly, but there is a peace beginning to settle within you, a quiet assurance that you are no longer who you were when this message first found you. That is the transformation. Archangel Michael is drawing near to you now, not with urgency, but with calm presence. Not with pressure, but with reassurance. Because what needed to be awakened within you has already begun. What needed to be revealed has already been shown. And what needed to shift has already started moving into place. You are not leaving this moment empty-handed. You are leaving with something far more valuable than certainty. You are leaving with inner strength. The kind of strength that does not fade when circumstances change. The kind of strength that remains steady, even when the path ahead is still unfolding. There was a time when you questioned whether you were strong enough. A time when you wondered if you would ever feel clear, confident, and aligned with your purpose. But that version of you is no longer in control. You have seen something deeper now. You have felt something real. And once you experience that, you cannot go back to seeing yourself the same way again. Archangel Michael reminds you gently, you are not alone, and you never have been. Every step you have taken, even the uncertain ones, has been guided. Every challenge you have faced has strengthened you. Every moment that felt like a delay was positioning you for something greater. Now, you are stepping into a new chapter. A chapter where you no longer doubt your worth. A chapter where you no longer shrink your voice. A chapter where you move with quiet confidence, trusting that what is within you is more than enough. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you. The power dwelling within you is greater than anything that tries to stand against your divine calling. Not sometimes, not occasionally, always. Let that truth bring you peace. Let it calm your thoughts when uncertainty arises. Let it guide your decisions when the path feels unclear. Because you do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. You only need to trust that what has been placed inside you is enough for where you are going. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not as a distant figure, but as a constant presence, watching over you, guiding you, strengthening you. And as you continue your journey, know that you are supported in ways you cannot always see, but will continue to feel. Take a deep breath and receive this moment fully. You are ready. Type "I walk in divine strength" in the comments if you receive this message with an open heart. Blessing code 999 is now released over your life, sealing peace, clarity, and protection upon your path. And as this peace settles over you, hear this sacred call. I am becoming a light in the lives of others who are still searching for strength like I once was. Like seeds planted in good soil, your giving releases a harvest of hope, reaching hearts that are waiting for this very message. The word speaks to you now. Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days, and this is your moment to respond in faith. If this message has touched your spirit, then step forward through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in every video description and QR code and become part of this divine mission. As you give, may your life be filled with peace that surpasses understanding. May doors open that no one can shut, and may blessings return to you in ways you cannot measure. Do not hold back when your spirit is being called. Act now, and align yourself with what heaven is releasing through you.